Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all the ships at sea. For the past 2+ years, I am sure all of you have seen videos on the reason why American businesses cannot get quality workers. Perhaps I'm a bit late to this puppet show, but I do feel I have some input to offer, having had my strings pulled more than a few times over the years by less than scrupulous bosses and other nefarious ringmasters. I will begin by stating that my distinct belief is that it comes down to the letters A, B, and C: abuse, bullying, and corruption, at all levels of far too many workplaces in the past 20+ years. It really matters none which business sector we look at, the factors are largely the same. There is and has been a severe lack of accountability at most organizations in the ownership and upper management positions. States and the federal government have made every attempt to try to fool the citizenry. Everything from departments of labor to OSHA. The gig is up. Everyone with a brain knows that businesses operating within the U.S. borders over the past 20+ years have been given carte blanche to abuse, bully, and otherwise demoralize everyone on their payrolls. Want to file an EEOC case against a current or former employer that has knowingly and willfully abused you based upon your age or religion? Think again. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission is a rigged scam agency. The federal law as it pertains to filing an EEOC claim is now so rigged against the workers that it is unconstitutional and no one does anything to right the wrong. Firstly, you have to get permission in order to file an EEOC case against any U.S.-based employer. Say what? Yes, whatever happened to the constitutional protected right to a fair and trial for all? Have an OSHA claim against your employer for unsafe work environments? It is increasingly more difficult to get state OSHA offices to even come take a look. Being that I am not a young sock puppet, I have some insights on trends in workplace environments over the past few decades. One trend that has really made employees angry is the downward trajectory of the human resources coordinator. At one point in our history, this person was an advocate for the worker. Now they are an adversary in the majority of businesses. Many HR coordinators at companies are in fact militaristic in demeanor and tone. Do you have an issue with your boss? Do not, I repeat, do not take it to the Human Resources Department. It will surely get right back to your boss, and then you will either become the victim of a vengeful, underhanded retribution, or will be outright fired for made-up reasons. It happens rather frequently. Another factor that has rubbed far too many workers the wrong way is the age-old problem of nepotism. It is at every family-run organization these days, and some corporate ones. Even if you are super kind of nice to the friends or family members of the president or CEO, you will inevitably get on one of their bad sides. You don't even have to try. It is just human nature that they will not like the way you talk to them one day when they are in a bad mood. After that, is it all over, and only a matter of time until you exit stage right. The good things of former generations that attracted quality help to places and also kept people beholden to a particular employer are now mostly gone. Company loyalty? LOL. You are fortunate to last 3 to 4 years at most roller coaster ride organizations. Health insurance? LOL. What you will often see offered is an expensive Obamacare plan that takes a quarter of your weekly salary and premiums and then costs you and your family $8,000 or more per year before anything reasonable in the way of payments by the insurer actually begins to kick in. Vacation time? Try earning 1 week after you're there for a year, and that grows to 2-week vacation time only after you're there for 5 years. Yes, it is that sad. Retirement? Some offer 0.5% matches on 401k account investments by the employee, and some offer nothing. What has resulted from the accumulation of all these factors has been a mass demoralization of the U.S. workforce. Why would any person who values themselves want to spend 8 to 10 hours of his or her time each and every day laboring hard, and only to go home feeling downhearted and depressed? Trust or lack thereof drives far too much of what ails the current work culture in America. Those who are not trustworthy themselves do not trust others. What far too often passes for working relations is often nothing more than a maze of mind games from upper management and ownership. For far too many, it is just no longer worth the mental and physical health toll. The hypocrisy of ownership is also paramount. You are expected to give a full 2 weeks' notice before leaving their employ, yet the cruel narcissistic employers can flippantly terminate your employment on a whim at any given time and for any trivial reason you can imagine. On top of that, the career path entrapment that is expected by employers in interviews is beyond the pale in its ridiculous attempts to control. Prospective employees are turned away in droves if their career paths do not follow the straight and narrow expectations of the heartless employers. Say, for instance, you started your career working 5 years in retail service, followed by 7 years in human resources, subsequently followed by the past 2 years in information technology. This raises so many prospective red flags for the interviewer that they are 99% assured to not call you back. Why? Well, simply because it looks suspicious to the hypocritical interviewer that you have decided to switch career paths more than once. None of their business, but they are a god in their own minds, and you are a mere peon. Do you have any job gaps? Periods of time where you are unemployed or underemployed. Well, you best be covering those up by faking your resume before it even gets in front of the recruiter or HR commandant. In fact, lying on your resume is expected this day and age. If you don't, you most likely will not even get a call to the interview. However, just don't make those lies too big or you will pay for that also. You see, many places hire outsourced detective firms to conduct thorough background investigations on all prospective job candidates before hiring them. If they find that you said you have a college degree and you do not, then you're not getting the job, and rightly so. However, you are not permitted to background check prospective employers. How much employee turnover that they have had in the past year? How impossible to deal with is the nepotistic president? How much verbal abuse are you required to endure? On and on and on it goes. Where it stops, nobody knows. Do you have a degree in a technical field? Your federal government has seriously stacked the deck against you. How? By allowing hundreds of thousands of foreigners with competing degrees to come here each and every year on the scam plan otherwise known as H-1B visa. I have personally spoken to Indian and Nepalese engineers whose bachelor's and master's degrees were paid for in American universities by their governments back home, and so they can easily work for lower wages for U.S. companies because they are not strapped with mountains of student loan debt like so many U.S. engineers are. So many Americans simply choose to avoid this ruse by not going into those career fields to begin with. What I have painted for you here, my loyal viewers, is not a pretty picture, though one of truth and honesty, something you will not get from any elected American politician on the topic. What we are seeing is that corporations in their never-ending greed to satiate the shareholders have greased the palms of elected representatives at everything from the local all the way up to the federal government levels within the United States of America, all in the detriment of the American workers. That, my friends, is the crux of the matter as it pertains to companies not being able to find skilled workers anymore. Anyone with a brain and sense of self-worth is ditching as fast as they possibly can from this slave ship. Good night and sleep well.